The idea of divine punishment is a key element in Herodotus' work. While he's at pains to give a scholarly account of history and to document the events that he describes, he still cannot entirely free himself from appealing to the divine as a force in history. Specifically, the goddess Nemesis plays a central role in his interpretation of the events. This goddess ensures that everything is meted out according to a proper measure. No one should have too much of anything. She's often portrayed as measuring the length of a cubit. Thus, when one enjoys an inordinate amount of success, Nemesis intervenes, and good fortune is changed to bad fortune. Nemesis is conceived as a goddess of justice, an earlier version of Dike. It has been argued that Nemesis represents, so to speak, a more mechanical conception of justice than Dike. Nemesis simply reacts to something that has grown beyond its appointed proportion and corrects it. This is a straightforward reaction that does not imply any real moral reflection, which only comes with Dike. One might think of Nemesis as a childlike sense of justice, which insists on an absolute equality in everything and is morally outraged, for example, when a sibling is given one more of something than the others. The immediate response of every child is, why did he get an extra one? On this simplistic view of things, there's no nuance or moral ambiguity, and the injustice can readily be corrected. The goal is to maintain the proper balance in order to ensure equity and fairness. Here we can see the Greek belief that in the end the gods are just, or at least there is some element of justice in human affairs. This is ensured by the simple fact that there is a goddess of justice at all. In discussing the crime of abducting Helen and the resulting destruction of Troy, Herodotus concludes, quote, "The utter ruin of the Trojans and their annihilation should serve to demonstrate to humanity that terrible crimes will meet with correspondingly terrible punishments from the gods." Likewise, in the passage we discussed above, Croesus' arrogance and presumption are rightly punished. This shows a more positive view of the gods than one sees in, for example, Gilgamesh, where it's difficult to see any concept of justice in the gods' actions. This is more in line with the conception we saw in the views of Job's friends, namely that ill deeds will inevitably be punished. In the end, Croesus is a victim of Nemesis. His beloved son is killed in a fluke hunting accident. In this situation, Croesus' power and wealth mean absolutely nothing to him. Without his son, he cannot be happy. Thus, the opinion of Solon proves to be vindicated, and the short-sightedness of Croesus revealed. Croesus is punished for neglecting to realize the importance of family for human happiness. As if in Greek tragic drama, Nemesis forces him to learn this the hard way by bringing about this family disaster. The story also demonstrates the Greek conception of fate. Croesus has a dream that seems to forebode the death of his son. He thus takes special precautions in order to keep his son out of harm's way. He explains this to his son as follows, quote, "I am determined for so long as I still have breath to smuggle you past anything that fate might throw at you," unquote. But as the events unfold, in his very precautions to protect his son, Croesus in fact creates the conditions for his death. The moral to the story is clearly that once one's fate has been determined, there's nothing that one can do to escape it. This is a motif that's found in Greek tragedy as well. Herodotus indicates this with the image of a noose tightening around Croesus' neck. He's unable to extricate himself from the noose, which only becomes tighter with his movements.